yeah, it's not about me. It's about this brother right here, Mr.
Matt
Matt.
up.
Awesome. How are you?
Hey
I'm
man, how are you doing?
doing as awesome as I can.
I'm so
That's it.
excited. Andy, you know that I met our guest when I was on the July 1st open mic. So, Andy, are you curious at all how that went?
Yeah, please tell
I want
us.
to
Tell us how
hear
this
from
all
Matt.
happened.
Matt, what did you think about the whole experience?
I shoot. So I do this every Saturday, my show
Mm-hmm.
at Twin Kegs 2. And so really it was just like one of those Saturdays where, it's great because I like having, so I've had like so many different people from different states, even different countries come out to my show. I mean, I've had people from Australia, people from Brazil, South Africa come out to my show, and then, people from other states too. It's always a great feeling when you get other people from out of state knowing that you have an event. And I, honestly, I thought that was one of the best shows, like, around that time too, so.
You hear that, Andy? You hear
Yeah,
that? One of the
yeah,
best.
that's
Well, I got to tell
awesome.
you, Matt, I'm so grateful to you because I think I definitely broke some of the etiquette, even though you're totally cool. You run a
Oh,
fantastically awesome job. But I'm like,
so
can you
there
let me
is
get
no
back on
filter in my
stage?
shows. None
I was like, can you let me get
whatsoever.
back? Sorry, go ahead.
They're not
Sorry.
ready. They're not ready. Children are not ready to go to the shows yet. They don't know. They don't know about the authenticness behind open mics and stuff. They're not ready yet.
Yeah, like with me, like it's no holds barred. Like anything goes. Like if I'm hosting an open mic, it's anything goes. Like I allow anything, even if all hell breaks loose. Like I
Oh
just go with
snap!
it. So,
I feel you.
and that's the fun part. I like the unexpected. I don't know what to expect. So,
Word. The element of surprise. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's what makes the show, that's what makes an atmosphere even awesome because you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I guess what the first question I wanted to ask is, can you describe, like, okay, no. All right, I feel like I'm skipping ahead. Okay, so w- talk to me about the poetry, about what you do. What made you decide, hey, this is what I want to do? And then how did the open mic come about as far as wanting to start your own open mic?
all right. So I told this story plenty of
I,
times.
I don't think you told the story, but you referenced the story when I was there.
Yeah, and it's pretty much a long story, but I'll do the short version. So, a couple years back, I wanted to do music, and obviously that did not pan out because the people that were in this quote unquote band, I call it the band that never was, they were really toxic people. So, anyways, my time around them was so like, not only was it toxic, it was very like, it was Jerry Springer-esque. Like
Oh,
I could
damn.
definitely make a movie out of it. Because so basically the gist of it, this girl that was in the band, I was helping her out. She was going through a rough time and whatnot. So anyways, there was another guy in the band and they were kind of like an item, but what she was doing was she was basically cheating on her girlfriend behind her back. So
Damn.
you can kind of see where this is kind of heading. So being around that and with them at the time, they pretty much didn't have a place to stay at. So I was kind of around them all the time. And eventually got away from all that. And once I got away from all that, it was basically like, wow, like, what did I expect? You know, like I never at that time didn't encounter anything like that. So I eventually, one night I was talking to a buddy of mine, hadn't talked to him in months, and I was telling him like this story, like more in depth. And as I'm telling this story, I'm like, I need to tell the story in front of a crowd. So within that month, I started looking at events that did storytelling. So I saw this one place did storytelling events, and I eventually got to tell that story like a couple months down the line, but I did tell a story a month later, so I thought that was pretty cool, and I knew right then and there, like, I just want to be on stage. I love to write. It don't matter what it is, a story, poem, you name it. So started writing more, and yeah, so anyways, how I started doing the open mic, so I eventually, um, so COVID happened, and I was like really like not in a good state of mind because I was so bummed. I was like, man, I'm actually hitting my stride as a performer. But then when stuff opened back up slowly, I saw that Twin Kegs 2 had a comedy night, and many people were like, oh man, you should try comedy. So I went there one night on a comedy night, not knowing it was an open mic. I thought it was, but it wasn't. So anyways, that night they were like, oh, it's a book show, but since you're here and lots of people couldn't make it out, we'll let you have like 3 minutes. All right, cool. So did comedy that night. It told a corny joke about, you know, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood to this guy that had his girlfriend. He was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, well, that's because you ain't got no wood. But you're like cement, takes you 2 days to get hard. Anyways, I did that corny ass joke, and yeah, so, but after that night, I started going through their comedy nights, and then eventually the bar owner there, he was looking for more events throughout the week, and I just went up to him one night, like, hey, I know you do comedy nights, music nights. Is it cool if I just host my own show? And originally I wanted to be more storytelling based, but to me, like, spoken word is word spoken to me. Like, it could be poetry, it could be storytelling. Like, I allow all types of, you know, forms of spoken word. So, and since then, that's pretty much how my show came to be there at Twin Kegs 2 every Saturday. And this September will be 3 years I've been doing it, which is crazy.
3
Remember
years.
it like it was yesterday. Been performing for 4 because I started performing in July of 2019. So it's been a crazy ride,
Wow.
for sure.
That's pretty crazy for sure.
Word. Wow, that is. I'm just trying to absorb everything Matt is just telling us right
Yeah.
now because this is crazy. Because it's like I said, like, it is always an origin story behind a situation.
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy how like what was toxic, you were able to manage that situation in a way that you turned it into a positive situation, and now here you are doing your own event, and it's crazy because right, you're doing your thing in a comedy hour situation, and it became like, hey, can I do my own thing? And then here you are now, 3-4 years later now, and it's like that's just awesome, man. Literally,
Oh,
pun intended too.
oh yeah, for sure. And there's like so many other like stories I could probably tell on here, but it'd probably take up the whole show. So I ain't
Oh,
trying to.
that's what
Hey,
it's
it's
all.
about you, bro. It's all
Yeah.
about you. So how is that like when it comes to hosting? Because this is a pretty interesting thing, and I think I'm glad you mentioned the whole bring your own show, and now you've been doing it for 3 years. What like let's say somebody wants to do their own thing. What advice can you give somebody? Let's say if they want to do their thing for the whole first time. And wait, hold on, Angelo, hold on, right now. And then also like what is the like realistically, like what is the pros and cons with that kind of a situation? Like, because I know I feel like it's an awesome situation, but also it's like, you know, grass ain't always green on the other side if you don't play your cards right type situation. Like, in your perspective, can you like walk us through that?
For example, like if you were going to do your first open mic, you're going to host it. What would you, you know, what he said?
I
Like,
mean,
any,
so when I first started hosting, like I've obviously been on stage, but obviously never hosted. So the way I did it was so, like I said, I was doing like the comedy open mics, not hosting, but just performing on those open mics. And the host for that open mic, he was just like, you know, he would always say something like, "You ready to start this shit?" So I kind of just like, okay, like, not really like, so also too, another thing, so about me, when I was younger, I used to love pro wrestling. like
Oh my
WWF.
God.
And like
Me
back
too.
then, you know, you had like all these over the top characters like Stone Cold, Steve Austin, The Rock, Undertaker was my favorite. But, you know, as I got older, you know, really like pro wrestling's pretty much like storytelling in its own way. It's an art form. So in a way, just like I guess looking up to those kind of characters, I kind of made kind of like when I'm on stage, you get me, but it's kind of more of an amplified version. And you know, some of those guys they may be playing a character, but there were some wrestlers that actually like lived their character. You know, just when they were wrestling, it was just more amped up. So that's how I kind of took it. You know, as a host, like all right, I'll you know get on the mic, say some crazy thing. I don't know. Lots of times because I just wing it. You know, I go with the flow. Like because I really base the crowd's energy. Like, okay, I feel pretty lax. I'm be like, how y'all doing tonight? But if I'm like in a really good mood, be like, y'all ready to start this fucking show? You know, so
Nice.
yeah. And I want to say hi to my buddy Cole up there. So watching this.
Hello, Cole.
Yeah.
Hey, Cole, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking this out. So,
Guys.
I like how you talked about like how you start the show, but how did you, like, what should you not do as the host, or if you're building an open mic for a crowd of people?
Like,
what's not, like, what has like not worked? Like, have you ever had a night that just kind of went off because something just didn't work out? I mean, it's open mic poetry. Who knows? But you tell me you have a lot of crazy stories. So, did you ever have a night that was kind of weird?
Honestly, though, I haven't really dealt with. Now, all right, there may have been like one show.
Okay.
Where it was an open mic, and let's just say some people that were at that show. There was like a little bit of a drama with certain people being there, and this one lady who I get along with fine.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna mention any names, but she was kind of already drinking a lot, and she saw one of the poets up there, and was kind of basically when that poet got up, she was like kind of like being a heckler, pretty much during her set. Like she was
wow.
like you know when everyone else went up, she was like, I mean, she was drunk, and we can kind of hear her like all the way at the bar, but she wasn't like you know being that obnoxious to her. Like she wasn't doing that intentionally, but when that specific poet went up, she was just kind of like, yeah, you know, and you know, some poets were kind of looking at me like, but also too, my buddy there that brought her there was like trying to get her to like, you know, calm down a bit. So
those poets.
now if he hadn't been there, I don't know what could have happened. You know, because he was pretty much sitting with her. So if he wasn't there, I probably would have been like, because I got along with her fine, I didn't want to like specifically call her out and then you know it'd be a shouting match. But you know, I probably would have just went up and be like, hey, I know you don't like her, just calm down a little bit, you know, like, or probably tell the bar owner, or probably tell the bar like, so because the bar owner is really cool. So
like,
yeah,
what do you?
The only time.
Yeah. That's a real challenge. See, that's what I'm saying, especially when you're hosting an event, trying to deal with hecklers, trying to deal with people. It's just like you want everyone to have a good time, but yeah, there's always that one situation. It's like, oh crap, you know, like what you just did, you were talking about, like yeah. I forgot I was gonna ask a question and I hate when that happens. Lost my train of thought.
It'll
come back to me.
I got a question for him. So if you remember, just stop me. So like the night we went, I was pretty impressed because, again, if you're just joining us, we are interviewing Matt Awesome. It's Matt Awesome at Instagram.
Cheers, anyone drinking.
And on July 1st, I got to participate in this Saturday, which happens every Saturday. And this September will be 3 years of hosting his live open mic in Nashville. And if you're ever in Nashville, check it out because it was a very good time. The bar was really nice. There's a bar cat.
Yeah.
There's a bar cat, first of all.
Can't go wrong with that.
And it was so nice. We actually had it on the patio, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I know it was on the patio. But we had like a family. We had like a couple that was on a date. We had like a table of like, I want to say like between 20-year-olds of just like a bunch of females that were having like a girls' night. And then a couple people who wanted to perform. Do you think that Nashville has the most non-poet fans that show up to shows?
Oh,
or in your experience, how great was that?
That's a good question. That's actually a great question, Angela.
Because I was really shocked by that, because I was like, who likes poetry but poets? But there was like a whole conglomerate of different types of people that were there. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, so I didn't really realize how big spoken word really is in Nashville. Because when I first started doing my event, and keep in mind, this is like a few months after like everything was shut down. So when I started doing my event, I thought I was the only one that had a spoken word event, at least during that time. But then months later, I would get, these two ladies, they came out to my show one night and they mentioned, hey, there's another like poetry event happening. I was like, oh, really? I've never heard of it. But they told me about this event and I was like, you know what, I may check it out. So I checked it out, this one place. And when I got there, it was like, so it was hosted by this poetry group. And I was like, oh, wow, like they got a lot of people coming out to their shows. I'm kind of glad I went out, so it kind of gave me a chance to, network and stuff. But as I'm there, there was like this feeling, because I didn't know what I was going to say, and not many people knew me there. So when I went up, I told this story, and, I told this story plenty of times on stage, but when I told it, I could feel like half the crowd was like, man, that was awesome, that was funny, but then the other half was like, who the hell let this guy on the stage, because they never knew what to expect, because I'm like a much different cat from like a lot of other performers out there. So, and that's what I've kind of like learned, like like throughout the years. So I was like, I ain't trying to get all in depth in it, but so I was actually in a poetry group myself, but I just left it about maybe months ago. And, do you, if that's what you like, all power to you. But to me, I just feel like it's such a cliquish environment, which, I don't know, I'm not really a big fan of like poetry cliques as it is, like not with them personally, but like, it's just like, I'd rather like kind of stand out, be my own person,
I will say this.
And grow as a performer, because I'd rather like stand out differently. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm a part of, this group and be a follower, when I've been kind of more of a like leader, do my own thing. I mean, shoot, I may have like a lot of friends. I may be in a lot of like friend cliques as it is, but I kind of call myself like the lone wolf of the wolf pack. Like, I'll be with y'all, not every time, but when I'm there, I'm there. So
I will.
Well, hold on. I definitely relate to him on that, because even like in my first like years ago, before I became a father and got married, of course. Yeah. But I used to, it's funny because I've been in different circles, but it's weird, right? Because I'm the same way in that regard. Like I'm there. If I'm not there, it is what it is. But even though on paper I seem to fit in, but I always felt like I was always out of place. But somehow it worked. But it's like, I'm okay if I'm not around certain circles all the time kind of guy. I'm like, okay, it's cool, great. I'm okay if I'm not there all the time. And it's like, everything you just said, I definitely relate to you in that way. But then I've had friends that took that shit personal, and I'm just like, why are you taking it personal? Well, it's something personal. I just don't, excuse me, sorry. My whole thing is, okay, you're cool, but I just don't feel like fucking with you today. Like, I just don't want to hang out with you. It's nothing personal. It's just what it is. Like what's the problem,
And plus,
but yeah,
I just feel like it should just be like a one big community. You know, I really don't feel like it should be like, you know, even though all the cliques, as far as I know, get along with each other, it's just like, I just think it should just be one big community. There really shouldn't be any like cliques, you know, per se. You know, I mean, and, you know, I guess it could be kind of like, you know, like with music, like bands are just, you know, bands, you know, there may be like the lead singer may be in multiple bands, but other than that, you know, it's not really like click heavy per se. But
Yeah, yeah.
because I don't really
I definitely
see
agree.
that in like the
Yeah.
local music scene. So
Oh my God. No, he's speaking my language right now. That's why I'm just like, yes, like, oh my God.
I'm
Like
seeing
you're
a lot of
taking the
people
words
are
out of my
loving what
mind.
I'm saying.
Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, because it's
Talk
so
about good.
true. It's
It is
so
though.
like
Go ahead,
Angela,
guys.
yo, Angela,
Yeah.
you know how I feel about the clickbait shit, like just the whole click thing. You know
Well,
how I feel. That's why
was
when he
trying
said
to
what he said,
say that I've traveled
oh,
to different places, you know, and you know, I've been throughout the U.S. a couple of places, and it's not unique to Nashville. There are
Yeah.
like again, it's really bizarre to me. Why are we like having feuds with each other, beef with each other, drama with each other? We're poets and open mic and spoken word artists. Like we're actually hurting each other by not supporting each other.
yeah.
Because
And like the
But
instead
back
thing
of
in the
is,
day,
doubling the pot, we're dividing the pot and
right.
triple.
But back in the day, it used to be like that in the poetry community. Back in the day, 2018, 2019,
But I'm
2020, it
talking in
was
real
like
life.
that.
I mean,
No, but
in the
that's
real
what I'm
world
saying.
one too.
But I could just imagine what I'm saying now. Back in the day, behind the screen, it was like that. I
yeah.
seen the thick of all that. But to hear that, okay, this is actually happening outside as well, makes you wonder, like, damn, like what's going on? I thought the main purpose is to us to enjoy art, express our words. Hey, let's just have a good time. Let's all unify, just share work. Like, what's this competition or what's this, like you
It's
said,
like
for
trying to
what?
develop an elitist attitude. I don't know. I just don't
And
know.
it's not that like it's not that deep though. Like
Yeah.
so, amen. Thank you, Matt, for saying what you
And
said. 'Cause
like,
that I feel like
no,
that needed to be said.
oh, I appreciate it. But another thing I want to add is like, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but the reason why I love doing my shows is like it's different because if I go to another poetry event, I just feel like it's kind of like the same kind of crowd and shit like that. And whereas my show, yeah, I may get my regulars, but like everyone there's different. I mean, shoot, you know, like, you know, we got at my show, you get like a diverse, like just different kind of people. So, you know, that's all
Yeah.
I gotta say. You know, like it's just different. Like it's not like the same kind of, you know, people, you know, there. Not the
Yeah.
same kind of crowd, not the same kind of like, you know, like people that share like these same exact viewpoints kind of thing. Because I get people there that may have different viewpoints and whatnot. But thing is like they may have different viewpoints, but everyone that comes out to my show on a regular basis, we all, you know, get along, and that's what's kind of missing because there's just so much
Yeah.
division in this world as it is. Like we don't need to be seeing,
Oh,
you know, more of it. So that's
oh my
just kind of
God.
my stance on it.
Amen. Amen. Praise the Lord. Oh my God, yo. Oh, you weren't joking, Angela, when you said it's gonna be an awesome live. You were not joking.
I
Like,
never
oh,
joke about how great our
because
show
that's
is
how I
ever.
feel. You're putting into words that I could not express how I felt about that. Everything you're saying is exactly what I've been feeling for fucking years, and you're just putting it in. Yeah, this is what it is. Like,
And
oh shit, that's all I'm like.
I'm just glad, you know, there's people out there that agree with my statement on that. So I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Oh my God. And it seems like a lot of communities too. Like I mentioned it yesterday, so I'm not gonna mention it today. So me and Angela went to this bar place by my area. I live in Bayonne, and I was doing some research for my wife, and it turns out like that form of art is missing in that town, but it seems to be a high demand for it, right? But again, like that town in particular, I'm not trying to bash Bayonne or anything like but it seems like there's so many things that I feel like if we can just bring something that's different to the plate, then everybody could all agree on. Like you said, like let's just have a good time. Like you said, like let's just enjoy.
Right.
Let's. It's this world, like you said, is so divided as it is. Like, can we kind of stop already? Like,
Yeah.
can we just shut up more and listen more, and maybe we can understand more? You know, it's sad that this is what it's come down to. So, like I said, I'm glad you saying what you say because it's so fucking true, bro. Like, yo, you weren't playing, Angela. You were not joking around when you said this.
Mm-hmm.
So, Andy, do you want to hear some of Matt's work?
Yes, please.
How about we
All
give
right.
a sample? Because if you're just joining us, we are featuring our interview with it's Matt Austin, who hosts an in-person open mic every Saturday. I think it starts at 6, or you show up at 6-ish.
Yeah,
Yes?
6 o'clock.
Yep.
Sometimes a little after 6 because I do get people that show up late.
Yeah.
But
It's awesome. I've
there's
been
another
there.
reason why
I've
it's
done
kind
it.
of like out in the. That's kind of
Also,
why it's out on the patio now because it's like because they usually do music after me, and you know this year it's crazy. Like it's actually been booming my spoken word event. So because of how booming it is, that way I ain't got to rush anyone to get off for music to start inside. Just have it outside, and if it's nice out and have people as much time as they want. So, all right, I gotta read off my stuff. So, anyways, lots of my stuff is untitled. All right, so I'm gonna do like some rhyme, like ones that rhyme. So this is like some stuff I written like years ago. All right, so this one actually has a title, Earthly Feels. I don't know if I did this on July 1st, but so this one goes, lies behind closed doors as they drink on the cores. Had to do that. All around me is love, yet I see the strings pull like the gov. Really, I could play that game. Thing is, I do it, and I'm still the same. Can't say that for some I know. Hell, I might as well paint my face like the crow. Yeah, I'll probably get shot. A shot of whiskey from someone hot. At least, I hope. Unless they got that dope. They'll make me forget about some shit, except a time I could see a tit, and I'd be looked upon as a creep wanting to go balls deep. Boy, was I born in the wrong generation. Everywhere now, nothing but segregation. Call me fucking strange, because quite honestly, I ain't gonna change. Value your damn worth before you depart Earth. So that was that one right there.
Wow. Wow.
That's probably one of my favorite ones I've written.
I think you did that one on July 1st. I remember
Yeah,
the pro line for sure.
Probably did.
We're definitely getting some people in the chat, and I completely agree. They love the tone in the voice.
Yeah.
Good. I appreciate y'all.
You have that drawl. You definitely have that drawl, and you play it.
I do.
Andy, what did you think of this?
Yeah, I'm just wow. I'm gonna read the comments. Congratulations to the growth. I love how the tone completely changes when he reads. You can tell he's a true performer. Matt, awesome.
Damn right.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's wow. That's such a wow. Wow. I gotta let this sink in because that is so. Oh my god, Angela, please help me out here.
Of course. I really enjoyed it, but you said that's one of your favorite ones. How come that's one of your favorite ones to perform or to read aloud?
Honestly,
the punch of the rhyme.
It's just one of those ones. It's kind of it's kind of unique. Like there's kind of like really no, like that one just really had like no meaning behind it. I guess it was just like a bunch. Like I was like, all right, I just feel like writing whatever comes to mind. And that night, like most nights when I do write, I'm like drinking or in a rare instance, maybe smoking a joint. But when I wrote that, I was like, I don't know, like as I'm writing, like just random things in my head, like I was like, you know what, like this, I'm getting down with this, like, and I don't know, I just liked it, you know, it was just that one just really had no meaning behind it, so.
So you did
Just
that
how
one
I was
again.
feeling
It's
at
for
that
like a
time.
writing. It was like I'm a writing technique or a writing practice, and to see how you can string those lines together. I mean, you say it didn't mean anything, but you actually told a story. I mean, there was a story there.
Yeah.
You were kind of, so I mean, definitely maybe not have a personal meaning to you, but you definitely were communicating a
Right.
feeling, an essence, a type of generation or something. Wouldn't you agree, Andy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Definitely agree with you on that one.
And plus that one, like at that time, I was like, I don't know, all my poems back then were rhymes. I kind of like gotten away from that, but I mean, I don't know. It was just like, oh, this word rhymes. Like, I don't know. Plus, too, it also gave me a chance to like use some, you know, words that I normally don't really use, like the gov and, you know, like other, like, you know, the cores, crow, you know, stuff like that. It was just like, all right, I'm like, see how this goes. So, but yeah, I got other ones I can do. I'll do like a more recent one. I probably did this one on
Okay.
July 1st too.
Well, I'll let you know. It's okay if you
All
did.
right.
They didn't hear it.
This one does not have a title,
Okay.
and this is probably one of my other ones that I kind of like because it kind of how you know it's kind of how I feel, you know, about lots of things. But all right, this isn't the direction I had planned to go. Your dream, right there for the taking. You feel it and sense it right before your eyes. Then all of a sudden, you're vanquished. Somehow you screwed your shot of putting that final nail in that coffin. There's absolutely nothing you can do to rectify the damnest wrong of them all. I failed myself. No need to feel sorry. The ones who should be sorry are the ones that tried to take away what I would kill to remain sane in these trenches. They forgot who the lone wolf was in the wolf pack. Should have known better not to take money off my table. Sins they will pay soon enough. What you see here on this stage isn't a hero you can look up to or paints themselves to be another victim. Rather, the one who is for real. I don't need guidance from those who will never understand me when they can't comprehend their own hypocrisy because they're fucking delusional, always proclaiming to go higher in this life. Yet, since the start of the devolution, you massive narcissistic egos are at an even flow. I see how this creation crumbling plays out. No rainbows or dark clouds in the sky. A slow, agonizing, painful death of deceit within the lies of those ass clowns.
Yo, that's, you know, it's funny. I was visualizing a lot when you were saying, talk about that piece. That was wow. You know what I thought about? It's like it's not the Wild Wild West cowboy fight, but it's after the fight. It's what's going through his mind after he fought, after he won the victory of that. Okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
draw the guns. It's after the fact. He's walking out, his hat is off. He's just reminiscing everything that he went through to get to that drawing fight. But then now it's like, okay, he's just walking away. He's just reminiscing. He's just, this is the things that are going through his head, and now he's just sitting down like just thinking about everything that's led to that fight, and I was like, okay, so what next, kind of thing. That's what I got out of that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I seen this guy wearing all black, like it's, that's the vision I got from this piece. And then I felt like your voice, the way you were talking, the way you were saying those words, it was like you were the narrator as he's reminiscing. Like you're telling the story from a different perspective, and it's like, yo, that's what I got out of that.
Yeah, and I was also, I also had this conversation with this one poet, like probably a few weeks ago, and she mentioned, like, I just like whenever you do a piece, like I just like your delivery and how you put like emphasis on certain words to actually, actually give it more meaning, which I thought, like, and I've always liked, and I think, watching, back in the day when wrestlers would talk shit, I guess that's kind of, how I got that too aspect, so.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That was amazing. That was an awesome piece right there. Literally, I'm pun intended too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that was good. That was wow. Again, Angela, you weren't joking when you told me we're in for a rude awakening. That's exactly what this was.
Yes, well,
wow.
Andy, you were delivering the ones for me, so here I brought one for you.
And it's crazy.
Wow.
Like, I didn't know what to expect tonight so I've always been more of a, I got to do everything on the stage. This is actually my first, like, maybe virtual performance / interview,
Wow.
So
exclusive first.
Got exclusive here on Unraveled Influence. And Queen Librati says you are a genius. And Bonita Poetry said you're absolutely right.
That's coming in high praise. We also heard Matthew McConaughey's voice coming out, like that. We're that draw.
Oh, where is that? Hold on. Yeah. Let me look for that comment. His voice and accent is giving me, Matthew McConaughey from the movie Dazed and Confused.
To which I think I described the cadence and the flow in that voice is just, you're like swirling a glass of honey bourbon almost. You know what I mean? It's warm.
Yes.
It's warm. It's slow, but it's not. It's hitting in all the right spots. You know what I mean? Right. That's what you're saying. That's how you do that. So what did you always? Were you always able to kind of emphasize the right words, or did that come over time through the performances, through doing that so many times?
I mean,
did you always have that style?
I'd probably say I've always like had this habit of like, there was like certain words, I'd like have a certain cadence, or I would have emphasis on certain words if I'm really feeling that.
When you were writing it, that's when you're hearing it? And I'm going to go, like, so you're hearing how you would perform it. So you write how you would perform it. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to say this like this. Yeah, okay. I get that.
See, like, that's a very interesting thing. Because when I'm writing, I'm just writing on a piece of paper, whatever comes to my mind. But I never think about, like what you said, okay, if I read it, how's it going to sound when I read it? I think about that after fact. Like I say, okay, hey, I'm going to read this piece. But I'm like, I never really think about how it's going to be read until I actually read it. And then sometimes I'll read it to myself a few times. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. But it's interesting. In your case, it's a little different, which I think is very unique.
Yeah.
Do you write out loud, or are you still writing silently?
Oh, I'm writing silently, but I can like envision like how I would.
You can hear it in your head.
Especially on stage, because when I'm on stage, after a couple drinks, I'm like in that. I get that right kind of buzz, that right kind of high, and it's like, all right.
You bring the nerves, not necessarily nerves, but you bring that nerves down, and then you're ready to go.
But I can like perform like sober.
Of course.
But I mean, I don't know.
It's better when the atmosphere. It's part of that voice.
Right. Like, I just like having like a good buzz and just go from there, Because it's just a better performance, I feel like. So.
For you. That's cool. Like I said, to me, it's almost
like
getting into your mind set. Because you're going to be that. It's not like a character because you are yourself, but it's a little bit exaggerated, so you kind of want that.
But it brings more of that, emotion in, pretty much.
Hmm.
So
Interesting. Interesting. What do you think about that, Andy?
No, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I'm just trying to embrace everything you guys are saying because it's so, to me, I feel like I'm always learning from you guys. Every time you bring people in, or we're just having a conversation like we're having right now with our guests, it's like I'm learning so much more. Like it inspires me to want to push my, it's like for my words or how I write to push the envelope, if that makes sense. And then Bonita Poetry says, Days of Confusion is one of my favorite movies of all time. A total vibe and fighting for yourself and your rights while celebrating summer, is what she said.
mm,
But yeah, I'm always learning. I feel like when we do stuff like this, we should always learn more and push the envelope in our writing and or whatever art that we do, you know. So I'm just embracing everything, honestly.
That's pretty cool. And did you have any more questions off the top of your head? Because I know usually
Actually, no, because I'm on, again, I'm just enjoying this whole convo. I don't really have any
since
questions,
you
to be
mentioned
honest.
wrestling, ever since you mentioned wrestling, it's been like Andy's been like super ecstatic, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I feel like wrestling has it's changed dramatically. Like even though there's like
it has.
AEW now and this, because I'm more like independent wrestling. I like New Japan Pro Wrestling now rather than WWE because WWE is too kind of overproduced for me. So like
Mhm.
I'll watch a clip here and there, but it's one of those like okay, like whatever. But there's something about wrestling outside of WWE that's so different because their type of
Yeah.
storytelling is so different, and I feel like poetry is that same way.
Oh yeah.
Well, I just want to say to our friends that are just coming in that we are interviewing Matt Awesome, who has amazing in-house real in ARL Nashville, Tennessee, open mic every Saturday. But you also have, I think you have one on another day of the week too that sometimes
Oh
comes
yeah.
through.
So once a month, I have another open mic in Gallatin, Tennessee, which is
How
like
far
30
away?
minutes out from, yeah, 30
Okay.
minutes out from Nashville at our spot. That's the name of the bar on the third Tuesday of every month from 7 to 8 or 8:30, depending on when people show up. And
Interesting. So you actually manage two different shows in two different locations. One's weekly and one's every third Tuesday.
yeah, yep.
What's it like managing two different spaces? Are they the vibes the same, or they have
So,
different?
well, definitely the vibe is different.
Mhm.
Because one, the Gallatin one, so the Twin Kegs one, I've been doing it for so long, and it's weekly. I would think like the monthly one would bring a lot of people in, but that's been the opposite. Now I just started doing our spot since February of this year,
Okay,
and,
that you're 3
and
years in almost to the
yeah,
other plan.
yeah. But our spot I just started doing it in February because I wanted to do another venue,
Mhm.
and because it was nearby my house, and plus it'd be like, all right, this is different. And having a monthly event, I would see more people coming,
Mhm.
but that hasn't really been the case. I don't know if it's because a lot of other poets just live, because there are poets that live not just in Nashville. I mean, you got poets that live in Murfreesboro, Franklin, Antioch, and that's just a much further drive for them to come out to Gallatin. So that, I mean, that could be a reason why, or I mean, that's probably like the reason why it hasn't been picking up, even though, because I would think if it's monthly, people would show up more compared
Wait,
to
I have a
weekly.
question.
Because it's weekly. If
Mhm.
it's weekly, people could be like, oh, we can just come back next week. And
Mhm.
sometimes there's like other events that are happening on Saturdays too. So,
Mhm.
but it's crazy because last year, Twin Kegs, I wasn't really bringing in many people, but this year it's like, wow, I'm actually getting consistent people
Yeah.
like almost every week, and it's just like it's been pretty fun doing it. It's probably like the best year I've done my show there. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long I'll be doing it at our spot. I'll give it another couple month, maybe another month, see how it goes. Because the last two times, like it was really bad weather,
Mhm.
and people didn't want to drive out in the rain. I get it. But then this past week, no one didn't really come because it was sunny out. People would be like, and plus school just started, so people would be like, but I don't know, it could be like the day too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a question too.
But,
Other than obviously your Instagram, do you guys do any other advertisings for those, like locally or at all, or do the bars advertise?
I mean, I pretty much promote it on all my social media that I have. Now I do know my Twin Kegs one's like on Eventbrite.
Okay.
And like other like websites that I don't know about because the bar owner, he promotes, all his events on like different sites. I don't know how our spot really does it, so that that could be it.
That could.
Now to be fair,
Eventbrite is any like lonely, elderly, person like myself could just go on Eventbrite and say, oh, there's an open mic, I can go to it.
Because like I said, at Twin Kegs, I've had people from Australia and South Africa come out to my show, so people all over the world know about my Twin Kegs event. Our spot, not many people probably not know it because, one, it's not in Nashville, also. So that could be another reason. But I don't know. Our spot, I love the venue. It's got great food.
It will grow. Like I said, like you said, it's only a couple of months in. You're only 6 months in.
And plus, too, it's a different, like I said, it's also a different crowd because the people that come out to my show at Twin Kegs, they don't really come out to our spot either. Mm-hmm. And the people that do come out to our spot, it's different crowd, because there was this one lady that does her music night like bi-weekly, and she literally came that night, like she came to my show one night because she wanted to do an event there bi-weekly, and I met her there, and she was like, and I told her, I was like, oh, I got a thing here in another hour, and she's like, oh, really, what's it about? And I said poetry, and even though she doesn't do poetry, she's like, oh, I've been looking for poetry events for a while, and I'm like, well, so she checked it out. So yeah, it's definitely different though, because I do perform kind of different at our spot. I don't know why. It's not because
the difference.
I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. Probably because, like, also, like, I know, like, at Twin Kegs, I pretty much, like, everyone knows who I am there. Our spot, there's people that, see me there, but they don't really, like, know me, like, even like after our spot show is over, like no one doesn't really stick around long enough. It's kind of the same thing with Twin Kegs, but at Twin Kegs, at least I was able to have like long, in-depth conversations with, my performers and people afterwards on nights when they don't leave early. Whereas our spot, they're just kind of like, oh, let's, get out, like, I don't really have like those in-depth conversations. It's kind of more, I guess, small talk also. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. But I am looking at more venues whenever I get some free time because it's been hectic for me lately. So I haven't really had time. But I'm definitely looking at some more venues. I'll probably still keep the Our Spot thing because they don't want it to end.
Yeah, I think they would be very interested in growing
that. That inspires me a lot, by the way. Yeah. That inspires me a lot, Angela. You know why that inspires me a lot.
Because, man, I don't know if you heard, but on October 20th, Andy and I are going to be hosting our first ever open mic. More details to follow, but it's going to be in Bayonne, where Andy is from, New Jersey. So yeah. We're so excited to hear that you've not only had success, but you're really enjoying it. You're still wanting to grow it to other areas. Because Andy, can you talk about like how you felt about the whole Bayonne and Bayonne Talks and how they were looking for that? Is that
no? So what happened was So I've always looked for a way to expand, right? Of like even beyond the poetry community here, right? Like I know because a lot of people I interact with here, they live in Jersey, they live in New York, they live in Philly, they live in Maryland, they live in Ohio. I know 2 people who live in Ohio besides Angela, and it's just like, what if I can do so, because I know some of them are willing to come through and travel. So it's just one of those things like, wait a minute, they're live nearby. How can I do something where we can do it in person using this platform? And I was asking my wife about it because I know she had a friend that used to do these open mics, and it was just like once in a while they would do at this other place called Ty O'Brien's. I said, yo, but what if we pick a spot that would, where can we do it? Because this particular spot, Ty O'Brien's, for whatever reason, that's not something they do all the time. They just don't care about that kind of stuff. But when I went on Bayonne Talks on Facebook, because every place in the world has their own community page for the city or the borough or the state they live in or whatever. And my wife said, hey, is there any spots they know about it? They kept saying Jersey City, Hoboken or whatever. And then multiple people said, oh, we don't have that at Bayonne. It'll be nice to have that, whether it's poetry or music. They don't have that. And that's why I looked at my wife and I said, you know what, I want to capitalize on that, because there was like maybe 20, 30 comments on that one post that my wife asked. I'm like, I got to capitalize on this. I'll be stupid if I didn't do it. And this is pretty much what happened. I brought the idea to Angela, and on Wednesday we went to this place called Shorty's, because that seems to be the spot that everybody has positive reviews on. And we spoke to the owners, we had the conversation, and October 20th will be one of the first ones we're going to do. So I'm excited. I already have 3 people who said, yeah, that they're down to come through and to participate and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, awesome. And then I have another person that that's going to try to get some of her publishing people, because she publishes as well. So there's some people who do live in New York, who live in Jersey, who live in Philly, and that they're going to come through. Or at least they're going to try to arrange something once I get more details on it. But I've never done anything like this before, so to me it's like this is a leap of faith, and like hearing what you're saying and everything you're talking about what you do, it just pushes me more to want to keep doing this. It's just about just getting our words out there, just having a good time. Everyone has a story to tell. Everyone has something to express. And I feel like, even though it could be for everybody, unfortunately, not everybody can do these things. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's one of those things that Bayonne is missing, is that, like I was saying earlier, everything is so all over the place that if I can use that platform and use that, poetry or music or art, whatever it is, and bring it to that town along with what we have here, I think we can get something. I think we can do some magic here. And to me, this is like a first time. I've never done this before. So I'm excited for October 20th. I just announced it, but there's no details yet. When as time comes, I'll provide more details on it. But I'm excited for what me and Angela are going to do. And then we had a new member now, Rosie, who became a new member of this platform with us too. So, and she's from Maryland, right?
Yep. She is.
So it's one of those.
Go ahead.
So it's like I'm excited. I'm just excited for what we're gonna do here. So
I just want to put the challenge out there, Andy, because I will be coming in from Cleveland. So if anybody wants to travel further to our show than from Cleveland, you'll definitely get all the awards and prizes available, because nobody's gonna beat me.
Oh,
right, Andy?
I look forward to. What day is that event? Because I may
Friday.
That's on a Friday.
I may request some PTO and go on by.
Oh snap! Okay.
And plus too, because also too, Jersey. I got some folks that live in PA, but Jersey's not that far of a drive from where they're at in PA, so maybe that will give them a chance to see me perform. Maybe maybe a work trip. If I can probably work something out with them.
We're bringing a Nashvilleian.
Because I got some cousins, aunts, and uncles.
Well, that's why we're putting that far ahead, but still details yet to come. Yeah, so we won't write your name down, but we'll put a maybe question mark by your name. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that'd be dope. That'd be dope. Cole says, "Do it, Matt."
I'm gonna have to check the maps on those. That could be a winner. I don't know. Have to check the maps.
But I am excited for what we're doing. This is the first time for everything, but I know for a fact this is gonna be something. Again, I like I told Angela, I'm trying to do this Allen Ginsberg-ish type renaissance with poetry, and I feel like this year we're slowly getting there with the way we've been networking with everybody. We met Queen Liberati on Wednesday, and she lives in New York, and we just met up with her back in March. Me and Angela met for the first time, and my wife said, "Wait, why is she wait? She lives in Ohio. What's going on here?" And it's like
psychotic.
we've just been connecting. From my knowledge, we're the only platform at the moment that's doing these interviews / open mics, if that makes sense. As far as like the virtual aspect, as far as the interviews, we're the only one that's really doing this. But I noticed not everyone else is starting to do that, which is good because that's what I wanted. Also, I want to inspire others to do that. We all have a story to tell. Why can't we tell it? Why do celebrities get to tell stories, but we can't? So why not?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I saw it. And then
if you guys do show up, you would definitely beat me. That's like a 13-hour drive.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so
That's pretty cool.
Angela, you're in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this open mic? I want to say word of mouth. I think word of
sounds familiar,
mouth.
but I don't.
I think it's in Athens, Ohio.
That's way
but,
south from where I am. It's like
okay, so, but yeah, I had these guys. I think it may have been a few weeks after you came.
Mm-hmm.
These guys from Ohio, they were traveling, but they found out my event, and I actually had thought about checking out their event, sometime during the fall.
That would probably be closer for you for sure, because that's like not where Cincinnati is, but it's parallel with Cincinnati.
Okay,
pretty much.
I know they got an event in Cincinnati.
Ohio University at
okay.
Athens. I went to Miami of Ohio, which is in Oxford, so they're rivals.
Yeah, I know they got an open mic in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which one.
There's one in Columbus, and I think there's a couple probably right next door to me, but I just can't perform here. I won't do it. I refuse.
Get out of your comfort zone, Angela.
Huh? Get out
of your comfort zone.
Okay.
No, you know what's funny? She was always the person that hides in the dark. Ever since she met me, I've been pushing her out of her comfort zone little by little. Like that's thanks to me, by the way.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
You brought me out of the darkness, yeah.
Okay, so we're almost reaching towards the end, but before I ask you this last question, would you mind reading one more piece?
Oh, I can do one more piece. All right. I got this one right here. This one should have a title, but another untitled piece. This one I like. It's kind of from a different perspective, because this is not someone that because I know a lot of friends that dealt with addiction and stuff, and this is just, I guess, coming from someone that hangs around with people that have like addictions. So after all the days I spent with dope heads, wondering how I never wound up like them, when I could have 1,000 times, a part of me wishes I had cracked. Don't ask me why. For the good time, lots of my best times were around them. Now they've died because I OD'd off their presence, to where if I ever went back to them, my vows and words withdraw. Thus, I die lying, my spirit going up in smoke, relying on that one more drink. Why the hell not? Unlike most of my friends, they won't remember what I remember the night before. I don't tolerate anything but a high tolerance. I know my limits, because it's never over when I'm face to face against authority, no matter how much they blow it out of proportion, they can't fix what's been popped. And no, I didn't have to use a pill to get my thrills. My fix isn't their fix, because what's there to fix if there's no fix to commit? That's that one.
Wow. I definitely relate to that. Unfortunately, I've lost friends in those in that type of way. So I know when you were saying that, I was like, yeah, I know that feeling way too well. This is years ago, but you know what's crazy? Because see, I was sheltered growing up, so those are things I didn't understand. So as I got older and I went to my adulthood, me being sheltered affected the way I saw life, and I started seeing things that I really didn't understand. And some of my friends are no longer here, you know, and people who died, there are people I actually did consider friends that they were just going through a lot. One of like some of them like just took their lives, some of them OD, some of them just like were killed or whatever the situation is. But just the whole loss aspect of it. Some of them I saw in front of me type of thing, which I to this day I don't know. I feel like this universe must think I could put up with it, because I'm like, dude, I don't even know how I even got through those seasons of my life. But you know, it kind of sucks that it's like the people you really enjoy time with, you're just never going to see them again. It's like they vanish, and it's like as if they didn't exist, you know. And it's just like, what is that? Like, how does that even happen, you know? So it's just one of those things. Like, why would the universe allow that to happen, kind of thing? But it's funny because this times I've OD too, you know, and like I think I told you, right, Angela, like, you know, back in 2013, I almost took my life because I just couldn't take it anymore. And all it took was a phone call and a text is what it took for me to change my mind. And it's interesting, like, had that not been the case, I don't know. So it's just, yeah, man, so much respect for that. So much respect for you for
how
that, man.
powerful performance can be, even though it seems like you're disassociating with the character some real emotion, but it's bringing out real emotion from other people.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Because you're mad awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, there used to be a wrestler called Mike Awesome. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah. I didn't get my name from him, so. Actually, Cole, who's in this, actually gave me the Mad Awesome name, so you can thank Cole for that.
Thanks, Cole.
All right. Thank you, Cole. So I guess the last question before we wrap this up is, you know, after I always ask this, so after we all pass on and stuff and all this all good stuff, what do you hope to leave behind in a way where what do you hope that people could remember you by once you're not here anymore? What in your perspective, of course.
What I would believe. So, man, that's kind of a. I mean, with what I do with my shows, you know, whether I've told some people this, like whether you've been to my show one time and I didn't know you, or you've been to my show plenty of times, I guess like whatever words that I spit out on stage leave some kind of impact. And even like, I don't know, because if there's like if someone just came to my show, they don't know me, but the fact that they were able to come out, spend an hour of their life, you know, just watching me do what I do, you know, at least I gave them like some form of joy and entertainment, I hope, during that 1 hour, you know, or multiple hours if they've been to my show like hundreds of times. So I guess that, you know, I mean, maybe, you know, it's kind of hard because, I mean, I'm 26. Unlike most of my friends, I'm not married. I don't have kids. Maybe that'll change if I ever do get married and have kids. But right now, I'm just focused on just doing me. You know, because if I don't get married and have kids, be the last person to have my. I'll be the last person to have my actual last name. So, you know, this day and age, it's kind of hard to really be in a serious relationship. So I'm just kind of like, all right, I'll just form my own legacy in a way that, you know, if I don't have any kids, I'll just have people that have ever seen me perform. Because I do, like, my main goal is to really make it big, travel all the big cities and stuff, and do my thing of spoken word and give them a show to remember, and maybe the words will have a profound impact. Like, obviously, you know, tonight on this interview, a lot of the stuff I've been saying resonates with y'all, so that, you know, really means a lot. So I guess that would be my legacy, just giving something to resonate with y'all with. So
absolutely, wow. You definitely live on through your words, and absolutely, I was at your open mic, and I think people really were, because we had the couple come up to us and talk to us about the female wanting to perform. So again, that open mic inspired them to try it, maybe even do it themselves. So that, I think you are, in fact, breadcrumbing legacies across.
For sure.
Right.
All right. So if you are new to us, we go to the after party, which is the open mic hosted by our friend at Origin of Thought, Rainier, and we'll be over there shortly. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad this was your first ever online, and it was with us here at Unraveled Influence. So, I mean, in person or virtual? In person, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much,
we'll
man.
See you October 20th. And if you do, you'll definitely beat my ass, because I'm only like 7 hours.
Yes.
And
yeah.
15.
More details will come. No doubt. I'll tag in everything. Like I said, more details will come by October 20th from Bayonne, New Jersey. It's gonna be phenomenal. So Matthew, thank you so much. Thank you, bro. I feel like I needed this tonight. So thank you. And thank
You're
you
welcome,
for saying
Andy.
yes to us. Yes, thank you, Angela, for bringing this fine brother right here, man.
Thank y'all for having me on. Like, this was really fun. Like, I can probably talk for more hours.
I'll tell you this. You brought me Queen Liberati. Okay?
Okay.
You brought me Queen Liberati, so I gotta do something.
Matt, awesome.
All right, so
oh my
Matt,
God.
We would also like to invite you to the after party as well. We'll get you towards the top if you want to perform one more time, but if you can't, that's okay. Everybody else, we'll see you over at Origin of Thought, because Andy's going to bed. I'm gonna have to do 2 shifts tonight.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm exhausted. I've had truck for some reason on a Friday, so exhausting. It's like, oh God. I am currently looking for another job, but yeah.
Normally I'd be out on a Friday night, but figure I'd stay out or stay in tonight and be here. So,
well,
word.
Thank you so much, Andy. I get to my other job, hosting, taking your shift over.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks again.